Einstein's theory of relativity, it can feel totally impossible to wrap your head around, right? I mean, we can read the words, but what if you could actually see it or even dream it? Well, today we're going to do just that by following a man who dreamed his way into understanding one of the biggest ideas in all of science. So let's meet our hero, Mr. Tompkins. He's a bank clerk, a totally regular guy. And just like a lot of us, he's fascinated by all this physics stuff, but also finds it pretty intimidating. Still, he's got that spark of curiosity, so he decides to go to a university lecture, thinking, hey, maybe he can be the one to finally crack this thing. So, picture this. He's sitting in this huge auditorium, and he's really trying to follow what the professor is saying about the very fabric of the universe. But the ideas are just wild. They seem to fly in the face of everything we think we know from our everyday lives. He's trying his best to keep up, and he catches a few phrases. Okay, there's a cosmic speed limit, the speed of light, got it. But then, as you get closer to that speed, things get weird. Moving objects literally shrink, clocks start to misbehave. It's all just a little too much to take in, and the professor's voice starts to get kind of fuzzy. And that's when it happens. He drifts off, but this isn't just any old nap. This is where our real adventure kicks off. He's leaving the lecture hall behind and falling right into a world where all those crazy rules aren't just theories on a blackboard. They are the real deal. He kind of blinks himself awake and finds himself on a park bench in this beautiful old city. Everything looks perfectly normal. You've got these grand buildings, a policeman standing on the corner. The world feels solid, familiar. The big clock tower chimes 5. The streets are pretty quiet. It's just a peaceful afternoon. But, in this particular city, ordinary is about to get turned completely upside down. As he's just sitting there, taking it all in, a cyclist comes pedaling down the street. And as this guy gets closer, Mr. Tompkins has to, literally rub his eyes, because what he's seeing, it just doesn't make any sense at all. It's a paradox on two wheels, and it's headed right for him. The cyclist is, he's squashed, but in a very specific way. His height seems totally normal, but he's been unbelievably compressed horizontally, just in the direction he's traveling. It's so bizarre that his bike wheels aren't even round anymore. They look like these tall, skinny ovals. It's like looking at the world through some kind of crazy funhouse mirror. And boom, that's our first huge concept right there, length-contraction. See, in this dream city, the speed of light is incredibly slow enough that a bicycle can almost reach it. This makes a real-world effect, one that's normally invisible to us, totally obvious. For a stationary observer like Mr. Tompkins, any fast-moving object contracts only in its direction of motion. Suddenly, a light bulb just goes off in Mr. Tompkins' head. This has to be that relativity stuff the professor was talking about. He thinks, I've got to experience this for myself. He spots an unattended bike nearby and decides to take it for a spin. So he's asking himself the obvious question. If I start pedaling really fast, am I going to shrink too? He fully expects to look down and see himself all squashed. But as he picks up speed, he looks down and, nope, nothing. He feels perfectly 100% normal. So what gives? And this, right here, is the absolute heart of it all. From his new, moving perspective, he is the normal one. It's the stationary world around him that's now getting all contracted and weird. The city blocks ahead of him look shorter, the building windows become these narrow little slits, and that policeman on the corner, he now looks like the skinniest man he's ever seen. It all depends on your point of view. It's relative. Okay, so he's finally caught up to the other cyclist, and they arrive at the post office together. He's starting to get a handle on this whole space squishing thing, but now he's about to discover another relativistic mystery. He glances up at the big stationary clock on the building. Clear as day, it reads 5:30. But then he looks down at his own wristwatch, the one that's been moving with him this whole time. It only says 5 minutes past 5. A full 25 minutes have just disappeared. How is this even possible? It's not just space that's acting strangely in this city. It seems like time itself is stretching and shrinking. A little while later, he's at the train station, still trying to figure out the clock thing, when he sees something even more baffling. A man who looks to be in his 40s gets off a train and is greeted by a very elderly woman. who calls him Grandpa. The grandfather explains it like it's the most normal thing in the world, because he spends almost all his time traveling on the train, moving at high speed relative to the city. Time for him has passed way more slowly. He's only aged a few years, while his granddaughter has lived a long, full life. And there it is, our second huge concept, time dilation. The faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. And this isn't sci-fi. GPS satellites orbiting the Earth have to constantly correct their clocks because of this exact effect. In the dream, Mr. Tompkins' watch ran slow for the same reason the traveler aged slowly. It was moving fast. Just as Mr. Tompkins is trying to wrap his head around all this, he feels a heavy hand on his shoulder. The dream is fading. He opens his eyes. He's right back in the university auditorium. It's dark, it's empty, and a janitor is telling him it's time to head out. The whole incredible journey through that relativistic city, it was all just a dream? But something has definitely changed. As he walks out into the night, Mr. Tompkins doesn't feel confused anymore. He might not know the math, but because of his dream, he now has a genuine, gut-level feeling for how this all works. He didn't just hear about it, he experienced it. And really, that's the whole point. The world Mr. Tompkins visited was a fantasy, sure, designed to make these effects obvious, but the physics itself is absolutely real. Time dilation and length contraction are happening all around us, all the time, just on a scale so tiny our senses can't pick it up. It kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? What else is our common sense missing about the true nature of reality?